Greetings, people of the interwebs. So I'm a little late on this news. I haven't had the chance to upload in the last couple of days. But, as I'm sure many of you are aware, Sony has, I guess, officially slated the date for the rumored Venom movie that they've been trying to make for probably about 10 years. That was the whole reason they forced him into Spider-Man 3. That was one of the reasons why the movie was not very good and kind of failed. So basically, that just shows how long they've been trying to get some kind of Venom movie going, because they wanted to put him in Spider-Man 3, make him popular, and then do a spin-off movie. That didn't work out, and then, of course, they kind of did the same thing in Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they were just kind of, like, shoving everything all at once in one movie, and look what we got. But, looks like they're I was really hoping this was still just rumors and they were just kind of tossing around the idea of it. But it looks like they're pretty dead set on doing a standalone Venom movie, and there's speculation that this will be completely standalone from the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies and the MCU, which is stupid. If you're listening, Sony, it's stupid, because Venom kind of goes hand in hand with Spider-Man. You can't really have Venom without Spider-Man, and I just don't see how this will work. And take this with a grain of salt, as with most of these videos regarding a lot of the kind of news in movies and TV shows, what have you. But one of the rumors that I heard is that they kind of want to do maybe like a Venom Space Knight in a way, or if not Venom Space Knight, which is one of the more recent runs with the Flash Thompson Venom character, or maybe just like whether it be, well, probably not Flash Thompson. I think he's actually going to be an Amazing Spider-Man, or not Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Homecoming. So he'll be like 16, 17, so he'll be in high school. Don't think they're going to go that route. So they might use Eddie Brock, or maybe just make a brand new character. But again, from what I heard, they might send that person into space, like maybe they're an astronaut or something like that. They go into space, and then they get the symbiote, and then they become Venom. Which I guess there's sort of precedent for that, because I know in the animated Spider-Man series from the 90s, J. Jonah Jameson's son is an astronaut, and he goes into space, and that's actually how the symbiote gets to Earth. Is it attaches itself to a spaceship, and then chaos ensues as the symbiote gets loose, gets a hold of Peter and all that stuff. So okay, that could work, but again, it's still the fact that I assume what they want to do is, because they've tried Spider-Man twice, and both Spider-Man franchises have failed to varying degrees, and now they basically had to work out a deal with Marvel to share Spider-Man. And again, Sony had been wanting to make this Spider-Man, or this Venom movie for a while. So imagine what happened is, at some point when they were making the deal with Marvel, Sony were like, hey guys, so Venom, we really want to make a Venom movie. How about we make a Venom movie like shortly after the Spider-Man, Spider-Man Homecoming? And Marvel were like, haha, chill out. Okay, let's focus on making a good movie first. Let's do Spider-Man Homecoming. We'll see where it goes from there, but we're probably not going to do a Venom related movie for maybe at least until the third one. So that's probably a good 5-ish years down the road until we're even kind of throwing that idea around for us personally. And then Sony, of course, been wanting to make this movie for a while, they were probably a little bummed. And we're like, oh, gosh darn it. And so I'm sure there's some kind of loophole or something they worked out to where they're like, well, hey, so we can't do our own Spider-Man movie yet again. Well, Venom, he's a sort of Spider-Man-like character. How about, okay, so if Marvel won't let us use Venom in, say, the Tom Holland's Spider-Man sequel, or the third one or whatever, as soon as we want to do it, what if we do our own standalone Venom movie? Won't be connected to the Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, won't be connected to the MCU, because, to hell with those guys. We need Venom. And don't get me wrong, I like Venom. He's a really cool character, whether it be Eddie Brock, more so Flash Thompson. I think that's the more that'd be the better way to go with a solo Venom movie. Just because I think he's a bit more compelling than Eddie Brock. And I've liked, from what I read of, I think it was the Ed Brubaker run on the Flash Thompson, Agent Venom, basically. And I read a little bit of the Venom Space Knight, which I thought was pretty cool. But again, I don't, sure, I don't know what their plan is, if they have one. Maybe they've got a great idea, and that's why they're really plowing through with this idea. But all things considered, I'm very apprehensive and skeptical of this idea, and again, I think it's pretty stupid if it indeed is not connected to the Spider-Man and overall MCU. But again, I just feel like Sony were kind of like, look, yeah, let's just do our own sort of Spider-Man type franchise with Venom. He'll be edgier and darker. Maybe we'll make it rated R, because, Deadpool and Logan are super successful, which, yes, they are, and they're damn good movies. Some of the best comic book movies, but they lend themselves to an R rating. Venom, I could argue, would lend himself to an R rating. So again, I get where they're going with this, but I just feel like they're going about it the wrong way. Just, again, based off what I know, which is very little, and just based off speculations and rumors that I've heard and all that. And mostly just the fact that if this rumor is true, that's going to be separate from the MCU. Why do that? That's so dumb. So, yeah, I just feel like that was Sony's way of kind of being like, hey, Marvel, so now we're working on a deal with Spider-Man. And I know you said we couldn't use Venom, anytime soon, but we didn't work out a deal to where we shared Venom. So we're going to do our own Venom movie over here, where you can't interfere, and you won't reap the rewards. So, yeah. Good day, gentlemen. And, again, who knows? Maybe this Venom movie could turn out to be really good. I hope it is, because just, I hope for the best for all the comic book movies and TV shows and all that stuff. I want to continue living in this golden age of comic book, just media. Again, where the comic books are all over the place. The movies, we're so spoiled. We get 10 comic book movies a year, and probably about 10 comic book TV shows in various forms, not just the Marvel DC ones, but we've got some of the indie comics being turned into TV shows or movies. So we're so spoiled right now, and it's amazing. So more reason why I want these movies to succeed, even if I'm not behind the idea behind them. But just kind of, again, just giving my thoughts on the whole Venom solo movie. That just sounds dumb. But again, even connected to the MCU, yes, I would be very much for a Venom movie. Even if, again, they just introduced the symbiote in, maybe even after Infinity War, much like in the Secret Wars, the first Secret Wars comic. That's actually how Spider-Man got a symbiote suit. When they were off, all the crazy cosmic stuff, he got the symbiote suit and wore that for a while. So, if that's what they're going for, maybe post-Infinity War, where they hint at the symbiote, but don't really, enact upon using the symbiote until later on down the road, that could work. Again, I think if they lay down the foundations right, and they do work with Marvel, this could be really cool. Could still be really cool without Marvel, but again, Sony's track record is not so good. And that's where I'm a little more apprehensive. Now, if Spider-Man 3 was as good as the first two, and if Amazing Spider-Man 2 is as good as the first Amazing Spider-Man, I'd probably be all for it. But right now, I'm not. Sorry, Sony, I'm not on board right now. You gotta convince me, or just, work it out with Marvel. So that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. But I'm not a studio executive. I don't know this stuff. I'm not a business person, so I'm sure this sounds great on paper. We'll see how it works out. But those are just my thoughts. And also another little nugget of comic book news that dropped earlier in the week is Aquaman was originally going to come out in October of 2018, but then they pushed it to December. and then Sony moved the Venom movie to basically October, so around the Aquaman slate. Now, the Aquaman being delayed by 2 months, I think initially I was a little kind of like, oh god, no, because it seems like every week there's some kind of negative press or news coming out of Warner Brothers and the DC universe. But this could potentially be good, because even though I think October still would have been a pretty good release date, not a whole lot of competition in October, especially for a big blockbuster movie. That's kind of when, the Oscar, it's kind of gearing up for Oscar seasons. You'll get like these kind of more Oscar bait type movies in October, and you'll get like a few, maybe bigger movies, but overall it's a bit lower profile. So that would have been a good release date, and I guess that's a good release date for Venom if they do stick with that. But moving Aquaman to December could potentially be good, because that's when a lot of people, around Christmas time, they're off for Christmas break, if they're in school or, universities, colleges, and all that stuff. So all the kids and young adults who go to school will be out, more than likely, or around that time. And then most adults who work jobs, they usually get like a few days off for Christmas or around that time. So that potentially could give them a nice boost financially, because everyone's out of school, everyone's out of work. They got extra money to spend on a movie. And what movie's out? Aquaman. And Aquaman so far has been one of the only movies that doesn't seem to be like it's being tampered with. In the DC universe, thank God. This is my most anticipated one, and I really, really hope it's good, because Aquaman's one of my favorite DC characters, and I want this movie to succeed for so many different reasons. So, potentially, this could be a great move on Warner Brothers for once. However, because, December is usually, like, after the summer season, December is the next big kind of movie season. Because, again, you still have kind of the karaoke, you still got the Oscar movies. Then you've got some big budget, like, family movies, usually one or two around this time, and, a couple other kind of bigger movies. But, as of now, Star Wars, because the Han Solo movie is slated to come out in May. So if it stays in May, I think Warner Brothers will be fine. However, if Disney and Lucasfilms decide to move the Han Solo movie to December, like they have with Force Awakens and Rogue One, which would be a smart idea, just because, good God, both those movies made like $1 billion. Because December, not a whole lot of competition, especially for something like Star Wars, but you can release Star Wars in whatever month you want. It's going to make a crap ton of money. But, again, if they do decide to move the Han Solo movie to December, I think that's when Warner Brothers might have to actually move Aquaman to like November, like maybe a month before, maybe even, hell, I don't know, depending on when or if they do move Han Solo to December, depending on how much time Warner Brothers have, or maybe they'll just have to bite the bullet and hope for the best if it does come out in December. Or maybe they'll delay it until like, the spring or something of 2019, which would suck. Honestly, I think, because Avatar 2 was supposed to come out in 2018, who cares about that? It got pushed back again anyway, so, whatever. No competition there, and then, of course, again, as long as Star Wars stays out of December, I think Aquaman will do really good, and I think that will be a good move for Warner Brothers. But yeah, those are just kind of my thoughts on the Venom movie and Aquaman. Hopefully you all have enjoyed this video, and before I wrap this up, as always, you can like us on Facebook at Pacey Bell Productions, kind of get news and updates and all things going on with the channel here, and other kind of Pacey Bell adjacent projects like some of our other podcasts and all that stuff. Same thing with the Twitter at Pacey Bell Pro. You can follow us there for kind of the same thing, and also you can vote on our polls for topics to discuss in the next podcasts. All that stuff, and you can follow me at Irishman Jake. Just give me your thoughts on stuff. And also, you can check out my new podcast that I started up called Shogun's Gateway to Animation Recommendation. We might shorten the name, actually, because it's a bit of a mouthful, but I'll put a link in the description below. It's basically just a podcast that me and my friend Will started up that's all about anime. And so far, we've only recorded one episode, but hopefully we'll have the second one up in the next week or so. And Also, with that podcast, feel free to submit your ideas on anime you would like us to either review or talk about in our next podcast. So feel free to just, tweet at me some of your suggestions on anime I should watch, review, discuss in the next podcast. And that about wraps this up. So until next time, everyone, cheers.